Let's talk about what it means to develop effective personal relationships. And as we thought about it, we've broken down to maybe 6 key components that sit in this category. The first one is fairly simple. Demonstrate a positive attitude in every time you deal with a Valley Crest customer. Show that you're glad to see someone. Reach out a hand, shake their hand, smile when you interact with them. You might be having a tough day, but that's really not the customer's problem. The customer should know that you're glad to see them and you're there to help with them. By the way, if they're not having such a great day, it may be something that brightens up their day and lightens their load a little bit. So it's something to remember. Sometimes it's hot out there. Sometimes I know we're busy. There's a lot on your mind, but a positive attitude every time you're dealing with a customer. You're there to do what? To help solve their problem. Understand what it is and figure out how to get it done. Number 2, or underneath this point, is really show your customers that we care about them as people. I mean, demonstrate empathy. They have lives. You should understand, to the extent your customer is willing to share, what's going on in their lives, their families, issues that they may have, what's going on. When you go into their office, they may be big sports fans, whatever their interest may be, try to understand a little bit about them and a little bit about what what's going on in their lives. They may be having a good period, in which case you can celebrate with them. They may have some things going on in the world that they want to talk about and get off their chest. So demonstrate some empathy. Again, treat as people. We are trying to develop good personal relationships. And the last part of this statement is actually reasonably important, is really never gripe about them, right? At the end of the day, it is tempting sometimes to get frustrated with some of our customers and some of their demands, but it's really a very bad habit. The reason we exist is because of our customers. So never gripe about them. If they're being challenging, it's potentially because they're being challenged by the situation they're in, and it's our job to help them solve their landscape problems. The third thing in the list on developing great personal relationships is admit mistakes when they happen and really fix them without any excuse. The last thing our customers want to hear is a big long litany of why something happened, etc. At the end of the day, if we messed up, take ownership of that, and then talk about how you're going to fix it and what the plan is. Customers will respect the fact, and they always do, that we're straight with them, that we're honest, that we're upfront. They don't like excuse making. They just want to know what's going on. If we messed up, it happens. It's hard to be perfect in the landscape business, but once we know about it, we can say, hey, we messed up, we're going to take care of it. The fourth thing is resolve conflicts fairly. Again, if it's something that we're in the wrong on, we just take care of it and move on. If it's something that there really is a legitimate debate between us and the customer, we've got to walk through that, we've got to talk through it and think about what is fair for both sides. And again, try not to escalate it to the point where it gets emotional or out of hand. It's just business, and let's just say we've got a conflict, let's get the facts on the table, let's go through a process where we can get this resolved fairly. The big thing though is don't let the thing stay open for long periods of time. Whatever it is, try to bring it to conclusion sooner rather than later. You're almost always better set if you get things closed instead of letting them fester. Next one, price fairly and sell only what adds value. One of the ways I like to think of it is if you own the property and it was your property as a real estate professional, as a landscape professional, would you be investing in the kind of things that your customer is? If not, then you should at least be having a conversation with them about some of the trade-offs. Our customers are, at the end of the day, going to be cost conscious and want to spend their monies in ways that add to the value of their landscape and the value of their business, and we should be their partner in that conversation. They may still want to do things that we think may not be the best interest, and that's fine. We're going to ultimately do what they want, but only after we've had the conversation and at least given them the professional input. Here's what some of the trade-offs are. What would an example of that be? Someone's putting in some flowers that we know won't do well in the particular climate. May look good for a couple of weeks, but really aren't going to last the season. They may still want to do that, but up front we should have that conversation with them about some of the trade-offs they might be making. Don't overpromise. Don't overpromise. And this is always very tempting, especially if you're dealing with a customer who's maybe a little bit upset or a new customer. We want to tell them we're going to take care of all their problems and all their issues. And we need to just be realistic about what we're going to do and how long it's going to take. One of my favorite examples of this, we take over a new job, the turf is not in great shape. We all know we can put the best turf in the world out there, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take time, and depending on what season you take the turf over, it may take several months for the right things to happen. And it's just important that we don't overpromise. It's true in the sales process, and it's true as we move along in taking care of the customer. Finally, never make up an answer, all right? If you don't know the answer, it's very simple. I don't know the answer, and I will go find out. There is most likely someone in the company who's going to be able to help you get that answer. But customers don't like to be BS'd. If you know, tell them. If you don't know, say, you know what, I'm not sure. Again, it's part of dealing with them straight. It's part of dealing with them like you would like to be dealt with. And it really builds trust and integrity when you say, I don't know, but I'll find out. And then importantly, get back to them with the answer and make sure that you follow up. So number one, we do want to develop effective personal relationships built on trust and integrity. If we follow these principles, you'll be a long way towards achieving that goal.